Hello everyone, and welcome to the coverage of the patch 2.2 trailer for Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn. And I've decided to look through the trailer and explain my interpretation of it in case you're new to the game, and I would like to get everyone else's opinion on what you think of the trailer. It was released today on the 14th of March 2014, and patch 2.2 will be launching on the 27th of March, which is just under 2 weeks from now. So we'll watch the trailer quickly and then we'll go through the website, see what they've added in, link in the description as well. So here we go.
Peggy 16.
So this is obviously the 8th rite where you attune yourself to Leviathan.
Heavens forfend.
Damn it all!
And there's Leviathan. So as you can see, you do all of the fight on this platform out in the sea in this little square box, and you can slide and turn and it can be demolished and stuff, so it's going to be an interesting fight, that's for sure. It's going to be a very sort of limited space fight, just the same as Titan. And here we have Hildibrand, investigator extraordinaire. You know, these side quests are just really hilarious to go through, so they are worth checking out, definitely. Here they're adding in new hairstyles, as always. Trying to just add some more variety for people to check out. Now they've labelled this section Big Fishing, and now you can also do fishing while sitting down, which is pretty cool, but they haven't really explained what the big fishing is, like what you can catch or anything like that. At least not in the trailer, so we'll check the website after this and see what we can find. And this is gardening, which you can do in a free company housing estate. So, yeah, that's kind of cool. He's wearing a botanist outfit, so I wonder if you have to be botany to do it. And here we have King Moggle Mog the 13th. He is, well, this is for the extreme mode, obviously. So we'll see like how much harder it is to fight when we get there, but also what rewards he gives. Like, will he give really decent weapons or what? We have to wait and see. And now this is going to be the hardest 4-man dungeon in patch 2.2, which will also drop the new Allegan tombstone called the Lost City of Amdapor. We can see a mimic there, which thank God we're finally seeing one of those, the sort of evil treasure chest. And this is what we're going to be doing to get the new Allegan tombstones, I'm assuming outside of the new binding Coil. So before they were calling this Amdapor Township and so on, but it's officially now called the Lost City of Amdapor. And here we can see the last boss, Diabolos. So, or Diabolos, whatever you want to call him. He's basically, he was in Final Fantasy XI, he's been in other Final Fantasy games as well. So we'll see how powerful he is in this dungeon. And then here we have one of the new hard modes for Brayflox Longstop. You can see it's been taken over by goblins who have just tried to set up as a fortress. So we will see again what it's like going in there. It will also drop the new Allegan tombstones as well, as far as I'm aware. So it seems there's going to be a lot of mechanical fights going on in this dungeon. Because of course you're going against the goblins, so. And then here we have Halatali hard mode. So, I'm not sure of the story behind these creatures. Oh, we have a big grizzly bear there. But I'm sure it will be explained in game as to, well, you know, who these monsters are, or if this this looks like just a different section of Halatali. So we have to see why it was locked until this point. Now, this is an interesting feature, the Retainer Ventures. Now, what it seems to be is a way of saying to your retainer, please go out into the world and farm for me the following items for a certain amount of time. And that's it. So you could basically just say farm for this amount of time and they will go ahead and do that for you. Yeah, then Glamours, so you can make yourself look like you want. So that you can see here they changed into the Battle Mage robe, because I think that's what a lot of people want to do. And here they're showing new recipes, so we'll see what sort of armor, how powerful these pieces of armor are when we see them in game. Here we have the new Beast Tribe quests. That's for the Sahagin and the Kobolds as well. That's a freaky new mount. Now the Kobolds are engineers just like the Goblins, so you see this mount with the flying bombs, you'll assume that that's a Kobold one. And here we have it, you know, what we're really looking forward to, which is the second part of Binding Coil, turns 6 to 9. So it seems like we're going to be doing a boss outside the dungeon before we even get inside it. Sort of weird flower thing. Yeah, and then take this lift inside. Another chimera there. Like a Medusa looking monster there with, you know, snake heads and so on. I'm guessing she's going to do a lot of, you know, petrify abilities. And another boss. So we're going to see how challenging these bosses are as well going forward. Now this guy, I'm assuming he was the one that you might have seen in Binding Coil previously. But I'm not going to spoil the story if you haven't got that far yet. Okay.
Across the sea from the land of Doma have we traveled?
So she has come from a faraway place, from a place called Doma, and I'm assuming that we're going to be seeing a lot of people coming forward to, you know, just to basically really emphasize how much bigger the world actually is. Because as far as I'm aware, Eorzea is only a country; it's not the name of the world. So that's why they have all these distant lands and they can bring in all these new characters and stuff, because we've only seen one place. We've only seen Eorzea. There's a Garlean Empire and there's all these distant lands that have yet to been revealed to us. And here we have, yep, a fancy trailer for Through the Maelstrom, patch 2.2. And you can assume that that music in the background as well is going to be the battle theme for the Leviathan fight. But of course, as is with tradition with trailers from Square Enix these days, there has to be a surprise at the end, so here it is. Here is Gilgamesh, here is what he looks like. Okay, so that's it for the trailer. So what we're now going to do, we're going to quickly look through the website. So we can see this section here, main scenario. It says, long dormant forces stir, they're awakening a prestige of night eternal. Political unrest pervades the free city-states as the Scions of the Seventh Dawn leave behind their home in the waking sands. For the betterment of Eorzea, they have re-established themselves beyond the reach of those who would sway the Scions for personal gain. Now this is all referring to what was happening in patch 2.1 when you move from Waking Sands to Revenant's Toll. Now it says, yet despite the Scions' best efforts, balance will not be restored to the realm so easily. Ever do the mysteries of the Echo and the Scions elude them, while the Beast Tribe rally with renewed ambition, threatening to unleash the wrath of another primal upon the land. Now the Scions are the weird cloaked evil guys who are worshipping some, you know, let's say evil god who's trying to just bring the whole world into darkness, really. And yeah, so the new beast tribes are acting up, obviously being the Sahagin and the Kobold, so we have to see why they're doing it as well. Like, what is their motivation? And it says, to stave off the encroaching darkness and pull the realm back from the brink of destruction, the Warriors of Light plunge headlong into the maelstrom. Okay. So here is a new character called Yugiri. So it says, hailing from the nation of Doma on the shores of Ophard, Yugiri and her countrymen have fled their war-torn home and oppression of Garlean rule in search of refuge. With supplies and hopes for survival dwindling, Yugiri seeks counsel of Eordia's leaders, and they too may call this land their home. So something that was discussed is about, you know, what race is she? Will we actually get to see, you know, what she looks like and so on under her hood? So I guess we'll see. And here we have side story quests. So talking about Hildibrand, Agent of Inquiry. So it says, when we last saw Hildibrand, Agent of Inquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, he had received a letter of challenge from a mysterious marauder known to duel his victims and claim their weapons as his own, that being Gilgamesh. And what will this battle hold for Eordia's favourite detective? Who is the fugitive fighter, and will he be brought to justice? The answer to all these questions and more can be found by joining Hildibrand and Nashu on their next case. So it will just be a series of quests. If it's anything like the first set of Hildibrand quests, it'll be a couple of hours, but it will be a really entertaining couple of hours, definitely. So let's quickly look at this picture. As you can see there, that's Gilgamesh and so on. Now, what I'm curious about is the fact that Gilgamesh and all the rest of them, they're looking at something else which is bothering them. So I wonder what they're all looking at. So it means that Gilgamesh is not necessarily a bad guy in all this. So let's click on Gilgamesh. So it says, in his never-ending quest for power and glory, Gilgamesh, self-styled warrior of legend and collector of fine weaponry, now roams the lands of Eorzea. When a series of events leads to confrontation with this formidable foe, you must prove your mettle or see your blade lost to this ever-growing collection. So Gilgamesh has been featured in many previous Final Fantasy games where he will just come in and try and defeat monsters and take their weapons. I mean, that's what he does with all of his all of his willpower, is to just take as many weapons as possible. And in previous Final Fantasy games as well, he would also be the one to drop certain powerful weapons if you are to defeat him. Now, Mr. Happy has already done a very detailed bestiary on Gilgamesh, link in the description, so I hope you find that entertaining to watch. So let's look now at Leviathan. So Leviathan, Lord of the Whirl, it says, the Sahagin, the reviled beast tribe native to the Indigo Deep, have succeeded in summoning forth their ferocious god, the primal Leviathan. How will the Warriors of Light stand against the might of the sea's most diabolical denizen? So I have a couple of pictures here of him. Looks kind of cool, so it's worth checking out. But of course, you know, whenever they do these sort of preview trailers, that's all they are. They're previews. They're not going to tell you much about how the fights work or anything like that. You are going to have to discover it yourself. And then here we have second Coil of Bahamut. So it says, having fully explored the depths beneath Castrum Ocidens, Elise's findings have served only to raise more questions regarding the calamity and the disappearance of grandfather Louisoix. The discovery of a second entrance to the labyrinth has rekindled her desires for answers, as she would once again ask for your aid in braving its depths. We will find the answer she seeks, or something darker still. So, and here's a couple of pictures. So it looks like a very interesting environment, and that's that sort of Medusa type mob that I told you about before. Okay, so now let's look at the dungeons. So you have Lost City of Amdapor. So it says, born in magic, the ancient city of Amdapor lived in splendor and died in agony. As the fifth astral era gave way to the sixth and the ensuing catastrophe, the agent of Amdapor's destruction slept. Now the seal that has held for so long is softening like a wind-fallen fruit. And what blind worms rife behind the skin of the dead city? So let's take a look at the pictures quickly. So you can see it looks like insects have taken over, like moths and whatever else, and just devour this place. We can see here a really freaky Mulborough who's got a lot, like, you know, it's just like a zombified Mulborough. That's all it is. You can see he's got like 2 mouths. Okay, and then here you have Diabolos. Okay, let's look now at Halatali hard. So it says Halatali, the very name turns some spines to water and others to steel. And to most, you know, silly people, just makes them giggle. You know, Halatali. So, lurid marks for the of the recent lawlessness remain still, but daily drudges conquer halls, slick with ichor and doorways festooned with things not for the gentle eyes, no less deadly for its newly restored order. The fabled training grounds yearn for new blood, perhaps to brighten the freshly scrubbed walls of its vast chambers. Now, if I have to guess, I'm going to say that you're probably going to have to start the unlock quest for this dungeon in like Revenant's Toll, and it will just lead you to unlock it straight away, and then you can just go straight in and do it. And here we have one of the you know, puppets from the Goldsmith guild, so I wonder how they're going to play in this dungeon. Okay, now let's look at Brayflox. So Brayflox Longstop is overrun with forces of the Illuminati. The furious goblin scholars are bent on recovering a secret recipe centuries in the making, and a moment in the flitching, or whatever. Having been pressed into service as Brayflox's boon companion, you have no choice but to disregard the facts of her thievery and defend Longstop from all those who would seize it from its rightful holder. So here we have, so these goblins are apparently the Illuminati, and they're after something, basically. So that's why they've besieged Brayflox. So let's look now, Beast Tribe quests. So it says, though bloodshed and carnage are common connotations for the beast tribes of Eorzea, there exist those among them whose brutish exteriors conceal honourable intentions and a desire for peace and tranquility, aka there are nice ones out there. Already, adventurers' valiant efforts have served to strengthen diplomatic relations with the Amalja and the Sylphs, which is obviously the 2 beast tribes we have now already leveled and got to max rank in the meantime. But as the realm continues to struggle, our eyes are now turned to the Sahagin and Kobold tribes and the plight of these troubled beastmen. So this is obviously the Kobold camp. Let's see. Yep, some more Kobolds. And then here we have the Sahagin. And the Sahagin. So we'll have to just wait and see, really. I will be recording videos and covering what the new beast tribes are like. And there we have Glamour and Gear. So Glamours, it says, adventurers of Eorzea now have a way to alter their appearance of their attire independently of their attributes. Magic their gear with glamours to project the likeness of one garment onto another, allowing for heretofore unseen freedom when choosing your wardrobe. Now, the only restriction of this is that you can only change the look of your gear into something the same item level or lower, not higher. So you can't be, for example, a level 1, or as, let's say, a level 1 black mage with glamoured system of like a level 50 summoner. You know, it will not allow you to do that. You can only do it downwards, not upwards. Okay, so let's look now how it looks. So yeah, so now thankfully this one's in English, so we can see. You can see here you will need a grade 1 glamour prism level working. So there's going to be different glamour prisms made by each of the crafts, which I guess will be good for crafters, and it'd be especially good for someone like me because I can craft anything. So yeah, you see how we changed it, and he's changed it into the 4-striker robe. Okay, so let's look now at the Geralt's Masterworks. That's an interesting one. So this is obviously talking about the upcoming upgrades for the relic quests. So from blacksmithing to carpentry to weaving, all these arts and more were mastered by Geralt, the renowned artisan whose name once echoed through the halls of every workshop in Eorzea. None could match his sense for form and function, his creations earning the acclaim of disciples of war and magic across the realm. All who sought the finest tools of their chosen profession had eyes only for those fashioned by his masterful hands. But alas, the master would lose himself to the thralls of liquor, his legend left to sink to the bottom of his drinking glass. As years passed, his extant creations grew all the more valuable for their rarity, artifacts highly sought by the wealthiest collectors in the realm. And yet, in recent days, an ever-increasing number of arms seamlessly forged by his hands have surfaced. This is obviously referring to the relics that you can get these days. So, could this be a sign of Geralt's return, or merely the work of a forger who would shamelessly exploit the master's name for his own ill gain? Rowena, the maven of munitions at Revenant's Toll, what's that? He posts his proof of an item of authenticity can be found in Geralt's signature, the mark of Ralga, breaker of worlds, and indeed the master's favor for the god of destruction in his early years are widely known. Those who would possess the true power would do well to seek those artifacts that bear this mark. So here we go. So this is what the upgraded relics look like. So I'm guessing this is a new katana for Paladin. Wow, look at that. New bow for Bard. So that's something I'm definitely going to be after. And yeah, new white mage staff. So you can see these gear sets look really awesome. So I'm guessing that these are going to be possibly part of the new gear sets that we'll see from Binding Coil, or maybe crafted. We just have to wait and see, really, to see where this drops, or maybe from the new Allegum tombstones if we can buy them. So yeah, so the relics are getting upgraded. So something I am actually doing at the moment is I'm finishing the rest of my relic quests off. So I'm going to be uploading very, very soon the Dragoon relic. I just need to finish 2 more fights and I can upload the whole thing, and then after that I just need to do Black Mage and Monk, and then I have them all ready for patch 2.2. So yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to share my thoughts of this teaser release. I am really excited about this. You know, it's nice that they're adding such new content so quickly, but also the fact that they're putting so much effort into it. You know, it's not like they're just adding 1 or 2 features and hope we'll be happy for 6 months. They're really going all out to really expand the world and new features and new everything. So I'm really looking forward to this. If you have any opinions about this or whatever, just please share them in the comments below. So yeah, so anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.